Hey everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone world, and in this video I have a fun TRW Lab. I'm going to see if we can apply rhinestones to wrap canvas. So we're going to see, can we apply it, how good does it look, and are there any shortcuts that I can use when applying rhinestones. So I have my design all set. What I did is I took the Reindeer 25 rhinestone design from our website, and instead of cutting all three colors, I just cut the original one with the three colors and put a box around it. That way I have a one color reindeer. So I'm going to put my rhinestones down. These are gold hematite stones. I really like these because they're like a nice rich gold color. So sometimes I go between light topaz and gold hematite when I want to do something gold. But for this, I'm going to put it on a white canvas, so I really want that gold to shine. So we're just going to do gentle circles. Rhinestones, what you want to do is you want to put a whole bunch of rhinestones down on your template material and do soft circles. I'm barely putting any pressure down. I'm kind of just guiding them in. And the way the rhinestones will work is they'll kind of roll off of each other, and if they're upside down, they kind of roll right back out, and then they stay flat if they're right side up. So we're just going to keep going like this, and then once I have the majority of them in there, I'm just going to kind of take my brush flat and go to the side like this. And now I'm just kind of getting out these extra ones that I don't want. And so again, when I'm doing this, I am not putting any pressure down. I'm kind of just guiding them out. And so whenever you want to get these stones out, or if you're trying to adjust one, always make sure that your brush is flat. A lot of times someone will focus on a stone and then start angling their brush, and that's kind of a way to knock out a whole bunch of other rhinestones. So we're just going to kind of go like this. And so you'll notice I have a couple missing, so I'm just going to bring a little pile and kind of guide that back out. So the biggest thing we're looking out for at this point is just making sure we don't have rhinestones in between other ones. So if you have that, just kind of do your brush in a flat direction. If it doesn't come out the direction you're brushing, just kind of try another one. Sometimes they just have that sweet spot that they find. So let's go right here. And I'm just going to kind of gently brush these out. So you'll notice I'm missing two right here, and then one right here. So you have a couple options. I like to get a little pile of stones, put on top, and then keep brushing. I don't necessarily want to use tweezers, but this is something that if you want to use tweezers, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to do a little circle, kind of work through that. Now I have that all corrected. I'm going to get these extras out of here. So we have one little stone there, and then I just have one missing. This one is totally fine to use tweezers on. At this point, grabbing another pile is not going to do me any good. So I'm going to grab my tweezers, put this little stone there. So now all my spots are filled. I'm going to do one last check to make sure I don't have any rhinestones in between colors. So I had one there. I'm going to go through, and the rest look pretty good. So now I'm ready to pick up my rhinestones to be placed onto my canvas. So with this, we have our hot fix transfer tape. Now you don't use the transfer tape that you use for vinyl decals. That's not the same tape. Hot fix tape is acrylic based, which means it can withstand the heat, and that's what we use for our stones. So I have this here. It comes with a paper backing. So I'm going to go over and cut a piece big enough to cover my design. So let's just go right here. And I'm just going to carefully cut it. I don't want to bump my stones either. So we're going to cover our design, and I'm going to cut a little bit off the top as well. And the acrylic hot fix tape can be reused as well. As long as it picks up rhinestones, you can use it. So now I'm ready to apply. So when you're applying your tape to your rhinestones, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is that you need to commit. If your tape comes down a little bit and it touches some of your rhinestones and then you move it, you have to start over, because basically you've picked up some but not all of them. So there are a couple ways you can do it. You can either go from the middle, work your way out, or I like to find an edge like this and then just drop it down. So really, it's all a matter of preference, whichever way you think you have the most control. But the number one thing, make sure you're not second guessing yourself. Just drop it down and go. And I'm just using my brush to smooth down, make sure they're stuck very well. If in the case one of your stones has shifted, you can kind of nudge it in the tape too to make it work. So now we're going to peel this up. So you'll see my rhinestones are coming up. You'll see that sometimes they stay behind. That's okay, just put your tape back down, press where that stone is, and then keep peeling. So we're all set here. So now I'm going to place this back on my hot fix tape backing just to keep it safe until I'm ready to press. I always clean up my stones right after, so I'm going to keep this safe while I clean up my rhinestones. And then this hot fix backing is really useful because our Magic Flock template material is reusable and it's sticky. So now I just keep this stuck to the back of my tape, and now I have easy storage for my template. So I like to keep these in sheet protectors. Whatever works for you is great. You can kind of keep it safe however you want. So now we're just going to take our rhinestones and we're going to clean them up. And when you clean them up, we're just going to put it in our little scoop. So I'm going to brush my stones into the magic scoop. And this is our TRW magic scoop. It's available on our website. And when you do that, it kind of goes down into this funnel, and then we'll remove this cork at the end when we put it back in our material. So I'm just going to finish this up, and then we're going to be ready to apply our rhinestones. So here I have all my materials. Now the hardest part about pressing things to a wrapped canvas is that the canvas itself has this frame in it, but then there's no pressure when you're pressing right here. And so whenever you're pressing HTV or rhinestones, you know, temperature is good. However, you do need proper pressure for it to stay. Another good thing though about these canvases is that because we're not washing it, if we get our rhinestones to stay and maybe they, you know, didn't get the exact right temperature right away, if they're on the canvas, they are very likely to stay. So this is an 8x10 canvas, and the cool thing is I'm going to take a pillow. This pillow is going to help raise up this section here so that when I press, I have good pressure. And so this is our 4x20 pressing pillow, and I'm basically just going to fold it over on itself to fill this space. So this is kind of like best case scenario for me. We'll do something like this. And so whenever you are doing pressing, I would suggest getting some sort of pressing pillow to fill this space. Some people like to roll up towels for that. I have a hard time with that with canvases just because I can never roll them evenly. They're kind of bumpy, and then it's just not fun. So peeled off my hot fix tape, and so I'm going to position this onto my canvas. So we're going to take this, kind of find where we want it to be. So I want this to be like a subtle Christmas thing, or classy Christmas, as I like to call it. So we're just going to find our placement here. Now I'm going to apply this with a home iron. You can kind of press this up against the top plate of your heat press. The problem with heat presses is that, you know, especially for me, I have a clamshell. When I bring it down, these are raised enough that I actually don't get any of the press on here. So I like using my iron for this because I have a little bit more control. So I have my iron. I just have it to the highest heat setting. I'm just going to put down some pressure. So I'm just putting down pressure on this. And I'm just making sure the point's not in the open area of my canvas because that actually can cause some indents, and I don't want that. So we're just going to keep pressing like this. And I can feel good pressure coming up from my pillow too, which is a good sign. So I'm just doing a few seconds at a time. You know, I am putting good pressure behind it. My arm's shaking a little bit. All right, we'll go this way. And then let's do this last piece. All right, so let's set this to the side and kind of check how this is looking. So you can see my hot fix tape's kind of waving a little bit. That's just because heat's on it. So this is lifting right here, so I know it's not good there. And so little pieces are coming up here. So we're just going to kind of make sure we're readjusting our pillow, and then we're going to press again and focus on these corners that haven't gotten it super great. So we're just going to put some pressure down. And again, you know, pressing a wrap canvas is not something you're going to do all the time. This is kind of something we're doing to see, can we do it? How well does it work? all of those fun things. So I'm just pressing a little bit longer than I did before, making sure it has the pressure and the time that it needs. And then let's do our last one. All right, now let's check this again. I can see it still lifting a little bit here. So we have a couple spots you can see. The glue kind of shifts a little bit too. So with this, I'm just going to kind of nudge these back in place. So I'm just holding down my iron and kind of seeing how it goes. Kind of focusing on those areas. It doesn't look very pretty, if we're being honest. It doesn't look good. Okay. So the difference between rhinestones and vinyl is that, like, the stones can shift. Like the vinyl, you can kind of tack it down and see how it goes, but this one's like, nope. You have to put me in the right spot. So let's go ahead and put this down. We're just going to kind of keep putting heat. So the question was, can you apply rhinestones to wrapped canvas? The answer is kind of. If you look closely, you'll see areas where it kind of shifted because it got so hot and the stones moved. If you were to do this, I would make sure you do short presses at a time and kind of check it. What I did towards the end here is I just put heat down and then kind of held it down as I lifted the carrier. You know, it looks okay. It doesn't look the best. If you want to put rhinestones down on wrapped canvas, I would recommend using the Bling Anything decal material. So I'm going to jump over and show you how to do it with that, and then we're going to compare the two. So I made another transfer, so you can see here are my rhinestones, and I trimmed it closer to my design. So I'm going to be placing this on the Bling Anything decal material. So we have this right here. Bling Anything has a shiny side and a dull side. So what we use Bling Anything for is that we heat apply items to this to turn it into a decal to go onto harder surfaces like your car, your laptop. Basically, we're making rhinestone decals with this. And so an easy way that helps me remember it is I'm basically doing like a big heat version of sticker paper. So if you're ever wondering what side you need to apply your rhinestones to, kind of think about like with stickers, you peel a paper backing off of it. Well, this dull side that you see right here is that backing. So we're going to take our little design and we're going to place it inside of our Bling Anything. So you want to make sure that your design doesn't go past your line. When you do that, it kind of melts the whole thing and it damages your decal. It actually will like melt the whole top layer and then you won't be able to actually use it. So we're going to bring it inside and then I'm just going to go ahead and trim off this excess. Because I don't want to waste a whole lot of my Bling Anything material because it can get kind of pricey. So I'm going to trim that down and set that to the side. So my heat press is set at 325 degrees. You can press this anywhere between 325 and 335. And so the different thing between doing rhinestones on apparel and rhinestones on Bling Anything is that you want the heat to get to the back of your stones first. You want this glue side facing up. So we're going to flip it upside down, and then I'm going to bring my cover sheet and kind of roll it over like a sandwich in a way, and then we're going to press this at 325 for 10 seconds. And you want to have medium to firm pressure, so I'm just increasing the pressure on my max press. And this is the Stahl's max press. I use a 15 by 15. All right, now open it. So now we want heat to get on the other side. So I'm going to take this whole thing together, flip it over, and I'm just going to kind of check to make sure my whole design is on there. And then we're going to press on the front for 5 seconds. right, so we're going to lift this up. And then this is going to be sticking a little bit, so just be really careful when you peel it up. All right, so this is really hot. So let's go through. Let's grab our tape. So we're just going to peel our tape up off of our Bling Anything. And you can always wait a couple seconds to do this. I'm impatient, so I'm peeling it while it's hot. So it's kind of burning me a little bit. So now we've made our rhinestone decal. Now when you press Bling Anything, you want to have like a nice little ring. So now we have those rings that show up. Now this is still a pretty big piece. We can trim closer to this. So we're just going to take our scissors and I'm going to trim right on this line. So if you look at this design, there's an area where it's kind of smooth around your rhinestones and then it gets bumpy again. I'm going to find that line and I'm going to cut on that line around my entire design. So I'm going to keep cutting this and then we're going to go over it and we're going to place this onto our canvas and compare the two different ways to apply rhinestones. So here's my canvas. For this example, I am using a 10 by 10, not for any particular reason besides the fact that I didn't have any more 8 by 10s. So we're going to take this and I have my Bling Anything material all cut out. So this is my decal. With this, it has that paper backing that I talked about earlier. So you can take it and peel back the paper backing. So the material that our stones are on is going to be clear. So this part is always the trickiest, it's just peeling back your backing. So we're going to take that. If you look, you'll see that it's clear behind our rhinestones. And we're just going to peel this up off the antlers. Kind of go from there. So here's our decal. We're just going to find our placement on here. I'm holding these antlers just to make sure they don't stick too early. Now I'm going to kind of go out. So check this out. Now we have a little rhinestone design placed onto a canvas. Placed perfectly. It looks really cute. Now you can even paint this canvas or put some stuff around it. It would be really nice. But when you do that to compare to this guy, a lot cleaner of a look with it. So when it comes to this lab, the question is, can you apply rhinestones to wrap canvas? Yes, you can apply it. The method you use will depend on how good it looks. So with this, it gets a little bit messy, but it's not terrible. You know, I'm still going to hang this up. And then this one, super easy. You just apply that decal on there and then you're all set to go. So if you want to buy any of the materials in this, you can click the link below. And if you have any questions, you can comment below or email us at info@therhinestoneworld.com. Hey everyone, if you like this video, click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want the design I used in this video, you can get it for 80% off. Use this code below to get 80% off of our reindeer design on our website at therhinestoneworld.com.